I strongly believe in the idea of Christians owning property. The world is better off with Christians in positions of financial strength, and cash flowing property can do just that. My friend Steve has built a substantial real estate portfolio here in New Hampshire, and now he's teaching Christian brothers to do the same. Go to consultingbycurios.com. He's got options where he coaches you through buying your first rental property or done for you options for busy people. Again, visit consultingbycurios.com. The link is in the description. You know, a lot of you guys are all surprised about the Puerto Rican vote and the Hispanic vote and stuff like that. And I don't really know why you're surprised. I mean, this is part of our culture. We've been arguing about the pluses and minuses of our, our own countries of origin since the beginning. I mean, even Puerto Rico, for example. There's a whole song about it in the show tune, America and the West Side Story. And I'm sure you've all seen West Side Story, but I don't think you really heard it. I mean, part of the entire plot was that one group of Puerto Ricans was saying that Puerto Rico is really great, and then the other group of Puerto Ricans were like, nah, that sucks. Puerto Rico sucks. And there was a whole song about it. There's one point where the one lady goes, I love the city of San Juan, and the other one goes, I know a boat you can get on. I love that part. That's a good part. Oh, man. Yeah, this has been part of our culture for years. You guys acting all surprised. I mean, you guys maybe got to go outside, maybe talk to a few Puerto Ricans. I don't know. Maybe you think we know, you know about Puerto Ricans. Maybe we should talk to a few of them. I don't know. Maybe. Oh man. In any case, so listen, it's not all about laughing. It really isn't. It's not all about mockery and stuff like that. There's a side of this. We talked about this in the Jen Wilkin content that we recently did, where she likes to talk about the Church of God as a family, but she goes way too far with it. I mean, definitely. But, at the end of the day, she's right. I mean, fundamentally, we're all a family here. And you can look at me, A.D. Robles, as kind of like your big brother. You know what I mean? I want what's best for you, and I want to help you out. And so I thought I'd show you what I mean in this. I can't get that song out of my head. I want to live in America. I like the city of San Juan. I don't know. That was good. It's good. I like the island Manhattan. Smoke on your pipe and put that in. You guys like musicals? Musicals are awesome. I listen. Call me gay, whatever. I'm sure a lot of people will call me gay in the comments. But I don't like watching musicals like the movies. The movies, I'm not so big on the movie musicals. But the musicals in real life, like if you actually go to Broadway, that's impressive, man. It's impressive. These actors and actresses, they can sing, they can dance, they can do their lines at the same time. Like it's quite a feat. It's quite a production. That's for sure. That's for sure. In any case, let's get back to the task at hand. I'm gonna be your big brother. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna help this Asian guy out. He's very, very upset about the election, and he decided to go on a podcast with Russell Moore and David French. I'm sorry, I can't laugh when you go to your big brother with a problem. You know what I mean? You don't expect them to laugh at you. So let me get back into character here. Hold on a second. All right, sport. What seems to be the problem? Well, the problem is that Trump got elected, and he's feeling all kinds of big emotions. So let's hear him out, and I'm going to give you guys some advice, because chances are there's some people in your life that you might need to talk to like this. I mean, hopefully not that many, but some.
This is why I love hanging out and talking with David and Russell, because they call me to my better self. Like Russell's already calling me, hey, put on your path.
This guy gay. I'm not in character yet. I gotta start over. Hold on a second. I gotta get back into character. All right, so I'm gonna pretend that I really want to give Ray some Curtis. Ray, why did I say Ray Chang? Is there another Ray Chang? Curtis Chang. I'm gonna give him some real solid brotherly advice. All right, here we go. No more fooling around.
This is why I love hanging out and talking with David and Russell because they call me to my better self. Like Russell's already calling me, hey, put on your pastoral hat. How do you help people navigate this spiritually? David's putting on his political hat. How do we defend the vulnerable? I'm sorry, guys. I'm still wallowing in my feelings right now. I was trying to catalog my feelings yesterday, and forgive me, but I was like journaling about this, and they all start with A.
Hey, Curtis. I mean, listen, we've been through so much together, and I think that deep inside, you obviously are trying to process everything that's happened, Curtis, and you've been through so much. You've already been through a Trump presidency, so you know that you're going to come out on the other side. Everything's going to be okay, Curtis. It's all going to be okay. Everything's going to be just fine, and you're going to make it, Curtis. You really are. But I gotta level some tough love on you, buddy. I really do. That you need to grow up. You know what I mean? Big brother's not going to be there for you all the time. You need to grow up, and you need to act like a man. And I know it's hard sometimes. It's hard to act like a man. It really is. But even if you don't feel it on the inside, you need to express a calmness on the outside. You need to express a confidence on the outside. And so it's okay. We can talk about this, man to man, and you can tell me everything that you're feeling, but you don't tell everyone out there this. You keep this inside, and you project a confidence about the future. You're a Christian, Curtis. You're a Christian. You're a pastor, I think. You're a pastor. You know what I mean? You've got to show your people and lead your people to have confidence in the Lord. God is a strong fortress, a mighty fortress, and he's a present help in our distress, and we've got nothing but confidence in his ability to preserve us, to preserve his people. You need to project that, man. You can do it, Curtis. You can do it. So if you have to journal, fine, journal, but keep it to yourself. Don't go telling the world that you had to put all of your feelings out on a journal just so you could understand them. I mean, come on, man. If you have to do that, that's one thing. But when you're out there and your people, your sheep are listening to you, you need to show them what it means to trust God. You really do. And so I think you've got to. You've got to change your whole paradigm here, Curtis. I believe in you. I'm your big brother. I know you've got it in you. I know, man. Sometimes we get scared sometimes. I've been scared before, Curtis. I've been scared before, and I've been frustrated before. There's been times in my life where that frustration came out, and nothing good comes of it when you just kind of give vent in public to all of your frustrations and all of this. Go find a quiet room. Go out into the woods, touch some grass. Go somewhere where you can be alone, and the Lord will hear all of your anxieties and frustrations, and he'll help you through them. It's as simple as that, Curtis. I believe in you. That's the first thing I have to say to you. Let's continue.
Can't take the pastor out of me. The alliterative sermonizing. This was my emotional journey. So I started in anxiety, and the way I dealt with my anxiety at around 5 p.m. was I went into big avoidance mode.
Yeah. See, I mean, I'm glad to see you using strategies to deal with your emotional problems. But this is what I'm talking about. This anxiety. Now, I understand sometimes. It feels as if anxiety is just thrust upon you. You can't help it. You're just anxious. But you gotta cast that lie into the pit of hell. You know what I mean? You can change what you feel anxious about. That's within your power. You can do it. You know what I mean? Anxiety, it's not just the natural way. It's not just the natural state. I think so many of us feel as if anxiety is something that happens to us, as opposed to something that we're active participants in. We're active participants in our anxiety, Curtis. And I talk to my own kids about this kind of stuff, like the worries and stuff that my own kids have. I teach them that this is something that, look, okay, we're experiencing this, but we need to recognize that we must master our anxieties. We must be the master of our anxieties. Otherwise, our anxieties are going to be the masters of us. And when you're anxious, you make foolish decisions. Like, for example, getting on a podcast with two charlatans to vent your feelings for a few minutes. It's just not a smart idea. It's not a smart idea, Curtis. I want what's best for you. I believe in you, man. I believe in you. You can do it. You can do it.
I spent probably about 2 hours just digitizing my photos, cleaning out my bookshelf.
I think, Curtis, for you, and this is not something I'm going to say for everyone. This is not necessarily true of everyone, but for you, and I've given my own wife this advice many times, because she's not really built for controversy. She's not really built for a lot of the dooming that happens on the media and on the internet sometimes. And I tell her, you need to avoid the internet for a while. You need to, you can't be on Twitter. You know what I mean? You can't handle when people are saying all kinds of evil things about me. And so you need to just get off of it. You know what I mean? When I see someone calling me, all kinds of names, it doesn't do anything to me. Like, I don't feel any anxiety. I don't feel anxious at all. I feel basically nothing. But she can't handle it. So I tell her, avoid the internet when there's, something going on. You know what I mean? And you're not my wife, obviously. I mean, thank goodness for that. But sometimes I think you just need to shut the television off. If I'm being honest with you, I think you need to shut the television off. I think you're being affected by the television just too much. Like, that television is trying to get you very anxious, and it seems to have worked here. And I think instead of, allowing yourself to be driven up into this frenzy of anxiety, and then now you have to go, do the laundry or do the dishes or clean your bookshelf or whatever it is you were saying, maybe just, you've got to know when to cut things off, right? Jesus says, if your left hand, your right hand causes you to sin, chop it off. It's better for you to go into heaven without a hand than to sin. Your right eye. You know that, right? You know that. So just cut yourself off from this. Those anxieties are not doing anything for you. They're not helping you in any way. Cut it out. Cut it off. You can do it, Curtis. I believe in you.
Out the garage. I mean, this election, I think, was a disaster for our country, but it did wonders for my to-do list. I just plowed through it as a matter of avoidance. Then around when I saw what was happening, I felt a surge of anger. And then I felt like a surge. I was like, what's behind that anger? Like, I was just wanting to blame people for this outcome. And then I was like, oh, I'm actually feeling like anguish. I'm feeling sadness. As David, I think, especially immigrants, the people of Ukraine,
Yes. Oh,
our
gosh, yes.
planet, in terms of our future generations. I was feeling anguish for my daughters, who I know are growing up as young women who interpreted this election result as a rejection of women.
Curtis. This is all. Do you see what you've done to yourself here? Do you see what you've done to yourself? You've allowed the television to dictate everything that you feel. Everything from immigrants to Ukraine to women. You've allowed the television, and Curtis, you need to snap out of it, man. It's time for some more tough love. You need to grow up, because you're hurting your children as well. Your daughters need a strong father. They don't need this weakling who doesn't have his wits about him enough to know when to turn the television off. You're hurting your daughters. All this because your daughters can't kill their children. You've allowed yourself to get whipped into this frenzy all over the fact that they can't kill their children anymore. Curtis, it's time to grow up. My friend, I'm worried about you, Curtis. I'm worried about you. You might say, I've got some deep concerns. I'm worried about you, man. I'm worried about the state of your soul. Because a man who doesn't provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. And if you're pumping this kind of anxiety and anger and anguish into your own daughters over this, you're not in a good place, Curtis. I'm worried about you, man. I'm worried about you. Your daughters don't deserve this. Your daughters deserve to be protected by a strong father who can spare them the anxieties that the television wants you to have. The television is constantly lying to you in order to produce anxieties, and you're so weak that you couldn't even turn it off and actually figure out what's what and actually think it through for 1 minute. Why are they saying this is against women? Well, it's because of the killing. They want their women to kill the babies. That's what this is. And it's anti-women to not let them do that. Curtis, you know better than that. You know better than that. In fact, when I'm out there and I'm talking to people and I say, yeah, I voted against women, I don't even have to explain myself. I don't even have to explain myself. They just know what I'm talking about. You need to strive to that level of clarity where someone knows exactly what you're talking about, because you didn't get your talking points from the television. You got it from reality. Curtis, I'm worried about you, man. And these two men in front of you are not strong enough to tell you what you need to hear. They're just nodding like two buffoons. They're idiots. These are people you should not trust with your deepest, darkest feelings. They're not trustworthy. They're weak. They're weak. They won't tell you to turn the television off. They'll just say, oh, yeah, Ukraine. Oh, yeah, the women and all. They don't care about you, Curtis. Your big brother cares, though. Your big brother, A.D. Robles, cares. And I want what's best for you. And I'm not afraid to tell you you need to grow up and you need to be a man. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, Curtis. I want what's best for you, man.
At some level, and a bequeathing of them of world of it feels like despairing to them. So I was feeling with the anguish of that, and then I ended last night. Well, I actually didn't end there, but I got to a place of just also, I guess the best word I could put it was alienation. I just felt like, is this my country? Like, what does it mean that this is my country, and this is my so many of my fellow Christians help produce this result. So I was just the whole gamut, and I think I'm still.
Yeah, you should really kind of marinate in that for a little while. The Christians. The fellow Christians who love the Lord, who love his word, who are fully equipped by the Spirit of God, to see the state that we're in and make a decision. And it's not the best decision that we would have hoped for if we could have picked our own decision, but they made the best decision that they could given the circumstances, given the choices. We don't have unlimited choices, we have limited choices. And you should really marinate in that and just think to yourself, could I be the one that's wrong? Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Could you just humble yourself for just a minute and think, could I be the one that's wrong? Maybe me and my friends are wrong. You know what I mean? Because lots of Christians made this selection. Could we be wrong? You need to. This is take a good look in the mirror time, Curtis. This is it. You've got a crossroads ahead of you. You can continue in your hard-heartedness. You can continue to play around with your right hand, causing you to sin, and just say, it's not that bad. My right hand's not that bad. Or you can do the extreme thing and just cut it off and be done with it. That's the thing. So all this anxiety, avoidance, anger, anguish, alienation, this is all cute. It's all really cute to put it that way. But you need to understand that first and foremost, you need to accept, it's another A word, you need to accept the fact that you could actually be wrong here. You don't have any extra insight. You don't. And in fact, if I had to go by the evidence presented here, you're not protecting your children, your daughters. You're not acting like a man. You're acting to be quite honest, you're acting like a schoolgirl, where you're journaling and then telling your little girlfriends about your journaling, and you're all anxious at 5 o'clock. I mean, it's unbelievable. Curtis, you've come a long way, but what I see before me is not what I know God has for you. This is not how humans flourish. That's not it, man. That's not it. These two buffoons, they won't tell you what's what. Your big brother will, though. Your big brother's here to help.
Sorting through the combination of anxiety, avoidance, anger, anguish, alienation. I'm all over the map.
Yeah, and that's another sign. That's another sign for you, Curtis. You're all over the place. You're all over the place. And that's not the sign of a mind that's actually functioning the way God intended it to function. That's not the sign of a mind like that. That's the sign of a mind that is, basically being pulled to and fro, this way and that, wherever they want you to go. That's what you're feeling. That's what you're feeling. Curtis, we've got a lot of work to do, my friend. We do. We've got a lot of work to do. And it starts with yourself. It starts with humbling yourself and just remembering that, just for a moment, that maybe Curtis Chang doesn't really know as much as he thinks he does. Maybe he's trying to be cute with God. Maybe he's just trying to be a little too cute. And Curtis, maybe you should, practice just a little bit being a man. Practice being a man. That's the thing. Like, we all have anxieties and fears, and it can be hard in the moment to summon that manliness when the time comes, right? Unless you practice. Unless you go through it in your heads. I know many children, my sons, they practice shooting down the bad guy. You know what I mean? They practice facing down the demons. They practice this when they're kids, and they've got their plastic guns and their swords, and they practice slaying the enemy. And it's all practice when they're kids. And then as an adult, I think that it's worth still practicing. Because when the time comes and your daughters are scared, you'll have your wits about you. And it's very hard to summon it in the moment if you haven't practiced it in the past. And so, Curtis, my advice to you as your big brother is to avoid these kind of guys. These kind of guys simply aren't going to help you. They don't care about you. What they care about is their audience. They care about, growing their audience, growing their alleged influence in the institutions of power, and they're using you as a way to get there, Curtis. These guys aren't going to have any good advice for you, but your big brother does, Curtis, and I believe in you. I know you can do it. I know you can do it, Curtis. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. AD@ADRobles.com. AD@ADRobles.com. I am here to help you, Curtis. And I want what's best for you, man. Good luck. Anyway, hope you found this video helpful. God bless.